Hey, my name is Loy, and today we sit down with cosplay sensation Psycadillo to try and get a better grasp of the wonderful world of cosplay.
Growing up, we always looked at movie characters or game characters that we liked and we said, wow, I wish I was that person. With cosplay, in a way, you can become that person.
What's the feeling when you're in your cosplay? Do you feel like a different person, or do you still feel like the same person and you've just got makeup and everything on?
So like, it's such a weird thing being in cosplay because you really do feel invincible. Like you said, armor, it literally feels like armor.
Mm-hmm.
The best way I can describe it is like you're yourself, but just amplified. I used to be super shy. I couldn't look anyone in the eye. I couldn't talk to anyone I didn't know. If I'm in costume, no one knows who I am. So I don't have to like act a certain way. I don't have to look a certain way. No one will judge me because they don't know who I am. I can use that to try and make myself more confident and more social if I just dress up. I started off as Korra from Avatar, and I got a really positive response to that. Like, people really loved the character, people loved it, and I was like, cool, this is actually something that I really enjoy because I can be creative, I can be myself. I don't have to worry about people knowing who I am, and yeah, I started getting more confident from that. I think the best part is kind of seeing the characters that you know and love on a screen and actually being able to bring those characters to life at conventions. So I do try to embody the character as best as I can, but I do break character quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But with stuff like little kids, when I'm in Wonder Woman, I will never break character for them because to them I exist as that character. I'm the physical embodiment of the character they see on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way it's like being a character at Disneyland. Like, you don't want to disappoint the kids. So I try embody the characteristics of the like character that I'm cosplaying as, but I don't usually stick to it that well. I always say like cosplay is mostly winging it, and it is mostly winging it.
Yeah, just finding solutions that work and moving forward with it.
Yeah.
Have you had pieces not work out for you? So you started something and you just weren't able to complete it?
Plenty of times. I actually don't have it hanging around here, but with my Eivor cosplay, I had braces that I made, and it was so difficult to figure things out because the actual official reference material hadn't been released yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going off little tiny screenshots of YouTube that I could get, and I remember making entire braces and going, cool, this is it, and then putting them on, seeing and being like, no, this isn't it at all. It doesn't work. And I started from scratch again. I've started so many pieces from scratch again. Or in some cases, like my Wonder Woman, I'll build the costume and I'll be happy with it, and then I'll come back to it like a year later and then rebuild the entire thing from scratch because in my mind it isn't like accurate enough, or I know that with the skills that I've gotten over the past year I can make it better.
You can improve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Wonder Woman, you kind of cosplayed her for a very long time. What's the appeal between you and that character? Because I feel like there is some sort of connection between you and Wonder Woman.
Oh, the Wonder Woman movie came out and I was really connected to the character and the strength and the motivations behind her. I've always loved Wonder Woman as a character from the comics, but the live action adaptation of that was like super special to me.
Mm-hmm.
And around about that time I went through a very tough moment in my life. I lost someone very close to me and I experienced like a ton of trauma.
Wow.
And that was as I'd started building the Wonder Woman. So for me, Wonder Woman became a symbol of strength and perseverance. And so I used that to continue building the costume. And it all just became a very symbolic thing that helped me get through healing. And ever since then, she's just been like a go-to character for me. I'm probably the worst cosplayer in terms of planning because it all is pretty much done up in my head. But I think I'll start off the cosplay process by like looking at every single possible image of that character. Whether that's fan art, whether that's concept sketches, whether that's the actual photos. For me, I tend to start my cosplays before the certain games have been released. So I barely have reference material, and that drives me insane because I will sit and I will study the character in depth, and then kind of, I should be doing it on paper, but in my brain I'll start to break down, like, let's say it's a breastplate. Okay, cool, the breastplate is made of leather, it's made of metal, it's made of this, it's made of this. and then I'll start breaking down individual pieces, trying to figure out how it all fits within one another. And then from there I'll start to draw things out to kind of pattern how it should sit, and then from there it's just a process of making like mock versions of whatever you're making, seeing how that fits, altering it until you build it up to get a final product.
How was it like making the Lady Liberty cosplay, and how do you feel about the character and, you know, the results? Because I saw how well it did. Like, people were invested. Like, people liked that cosplay quite a lot.
So Lady Liberty was a lot of fun to make. Like, I'm really, really grateful that Netflix reached out to me to do it. Well, I was very fortunate to be able to watch the show ahead of time in order to make the costume, and like I got so attached to Lady Liberty or Grace Sampson. I tend to cosplay as like strong female characters, and she just fit the bill perfectly. Like, I was given free reign to pick whoever I wanted to cosplay as, and she was my instant thought. It was a very challenging cosplay to make. Extremely, extremely challenging, because not only did I lack reference material for it, but I also had a very short time period to make it, and extremely short. It was probably the quickest cosplay I've made.
Wow.
Yeah, I think 13 days.
Jeepers.
Yeah. So, I think what a lot of people don't realize is there's so many different parts that make up this costume. So many different seams, so many different, like, everything is geometric and everything has a reason for it being there. So it was very interesting for me to make, because I usually stick to foam and armor, and that was purely sewing. So it was very personally difficult for me to make, but it was very rewarding, and getting the photos back afterwards was amazing. Assassin's Creed is high up on my list. I started playing when I was, I think, 12 years old, 11, 12 depending, and it's been one of my most favorite franchises.
What is it about Assassin's Creed that sticks? Because like you said, I see you in the Ivo cosplay, I see you in Cassandra cosplay. What is it about that series that really got you invested?
For me, it's probably the like historical setting and everything like that. I love history so much. I'm a big history nerd. And being able to play as characters in different time periods, and not only that, but you're like a really cool assassin that does parkour. Like, to me, it was like the most mind-blowing thing. I was like, this is an amazing game. It's so expansive, the characters are so well made. It just really sucked me in the first time I played it, and I'm still playing it like over 10 years later. I actually do have some pretty exciting projects coming up, or some collaborations that benefit both our local community and also the international scale, just putting South Africa on a more international note. But yeah, I'd love to continue working with brands, love to kind of take what I can do and see how I can push it to the limit.
Alright.
Bigger, better. Yeah.
And that is a wrap on our interview. Thank you so much.